Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Deck Tech for Decks. Before we get into the deck tech, all I ask is that if you enjoy the video, please drop a like and consider subscribing. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's deck tech. We are doing a deck tech on Animar Soul of Element. If you're a Timmy player at heart that just wants to play fucking massive artifact spells that look like they were taken straight out of the movie Pacific Rim, then this deck tech is for you. I'm not going to make you wait, let's get into those massive artifact creatures. We have Hulking Metamorph. This guy comes in and he's going to copy another artifact or creature we control, except his power stays a 7/7 or a 3/3 depending on what you paid. What are we going to copy? Probably Skitterbeam Battalion. Now, Skitterbeam Battalion adds an impressive 12 power to the board just by himself, but if we copy him with Hulking Metamorph, that's going to be a total of 21 power. That's exactly what this deck is trying to do. Add a bunch of power and just fill the board with those big artifact creatures. We have Mr. Rootwire. Sacrifice this guy and you'll be able to create a token 3 times his power. Triplicant Titan. This one, whenever he dies, he's going to add another 9 power to the board. So not only are you going to get the 9 power when you cast him, if he dies, boom, another 9 power. Phyrexian Tritiform. Same thing, this guy adds a total of 9 power, and if we encore him, the power we add is going to be insane, because you're going to get 3 copies of this guy. After they all die, boom, you're going to create 9 power for each for a total of 27 power. Wormcoil Engine. Again, after this guy dies, it's not going to matter to us much because we're just going to get 2 3/3s in his place, maintaining the same amount of power. Ancient Stone Idol. Same thing. This guy, we are going to lose half the power, but that's exactly what this deck wants to do. Just cast big creatures, and whenever they die, we're going to get value off of it. Blightsteel Colossus. I could not call this deck big fucking artifact creatures without including this guy in here. He's a classic, and he's going to trample over someone and get him on Infect. Verdurous Gearhulk. We're going to put those 4 counters on our commander and make everything cheaper. Woodcaller Automaton. This guy's pretty crazy. Casting this guy for 10 mana is going to add 16 power to the board. Cityscape Leveler. Not only are you going to destroy something on cast, but every time this guy attacks, he's going to be insane in the deck. Bosch Iron Golem. We're going to be able to sacrifice our giant artifact creatures to just deal damage straight to our opponent's face. Meteor Golem. He's not that big, but the utility on this guy is hard to ignore. Steel Hellkite. This one can destroy a whole board of tokens or whatever the issue is as long as you can fly overhead. Ruin Grinder. This guy's not only going to get us a full grip, but he's also going to fill our graveyard, which we do have a really good recursion package, so stay tuned for that. Combustible Gearhulk. Good luck if you want to just take the damage off of this guy. Your opponent's just flirting with death at that point. Let's go over some other very important cards for this strategy to work. We have Warstorm Surge. Every time one of those massive artifacts enters the battlefield, our opponent's going to be taking damage to the face. I mean, we can target anything, but it's going to the face. Kazul's Fury. Not only does this double as a land, but it also can just fling one of our giant creatures at someone's face. Terror of the Peaks. You knew this guy was in here. He's going to be really good in the deck, and same thing. As you can see, we're just chucking these guys straight to the face. Thud. Again, no surprise here. Next up, we have Ancient Bronze Dragon. This is going to add a ton of counters to our commander, making it to where we're basically casting everything for free. Pathbreaker Ibex. Throw this guy onto the battlefield, he's going to give all of our artifact creatures trample, and they're all going to get +X, where X is the greatest power of whatever creature we control. Fauna Shaman. Really good because we're going to be able to tutor for our key pieces in this deck. Old One Eye. Not only is it going to add 11 power to the board, but this guy's also going to give all of our creatures trample. Nothing feels worse than having a 10/10 blocked by a 1/1 and no damage goes through. Hullbreaker Horror. This guy's insane because he does go infinite with our commander. You know, once we're casting our artifact spells for free, just bounce another artifact to your hand, play it, bounce another artifact to your hand, play it, boom, Warstorm Surge is on the battlefield, everybody dies. Let's talk about that graveyard recursion that makes this deck so efficient. We have Genesis. 3 mana, we'll get whatever creature we want from our graveyard back to our hand. Felden of the Third Path. For 3 mana, we can recur any of those massive artifacts, getting their ETB and attack with them. So that's going to be really useful. Workshop Assistant, this is going to get any artifact card back from our graveyard to our hand. Junk Diver, same thing. We're just junk diving for artifacts. Mirror Retriever, also going to get us another artifact, but this one doesn't have to die to do it. We are playing some massive artifact spells, so this guy's more useful just sitting on the battlefield. We'll fling a 10/10 at our opponent and then bring a 9 mana card from our graveyard onto the battlefield. Sack it, bring 8. Sack it, a 6 mana. It's not crazy to see how this guy gets out of hand in the deck. Scrap Trawler, another really good card in the deck that's just going to get us an artifact card back to our hand. Now, with us casting all these giant spells, we're going to need a lot of ramps, so let's get into it. We have Solemn Simulacrum. This guy's going to be really efficient later on when we're just casting him for free, recurring him, and then casting him again. Ornithopter. This one's really efficient because it's 2 mana and adds 1 mana of any color. Not only is it going to add a counter to our commander, but it's going to get us mana. Gwyn, Eyes of Gia. This one's insane because whenever we cast a spell for 5 or greater, not only do we get to put a 1/1 counter on her, but she's going to untap, giving us the ability to tap her again for another 2 mana. Traverse the Outlands. Casting this and then immediately searching up 9 lands from one of our massive creatures is going to be amazing. Savala, Heart of the Wild. 1 green mana lets her tap for 9 as long as we have a creature with power 9. Our commander is not hard to power up, so she's going to create a lot of value. On top of that, if we cast the most powerful creature, we're going to draw a card. Copper Mirror, Iron Mirror, and Silver Mirror. Not only are we going to possibly be able to cast these guys for free, they're going to add counters to our commander, so it's just going to be really efficient. Elysian Plant. This guy's just going to add 1 mana to our mana pool of any color. If we have a creature with 4 power or greater, it's going to be 2 mana, so really useful. Rattleclaw Mystic. Play this turn 2, morph it up, cast your commander. There you go. Birds of Paradise. 1 mana, adds 1 mana of any color. Really useful in the deck. Beast Color Servant. This one's 2 mana, but it's basically a Birds of Paradise, and it has haste. Old Gnawbone. This one, whenever we deal combat damage with those massive creatures, we're going to be creating a lot of treasure tokens. With ramp out of the way, let's get into that card advantage. And let me tell you, this deck can generate a lot of card draw using the power of our creatures. Using cards like Return of the Beast Whisperer. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Well, I don't think any of our creatures are human, so he's going to be amazing. Guruk's Pack Leader. Every time we cast a creature, power 3 or greater, draw a card. That's most of them, so. Soul of the Harvest. This one we get to draw a card whenever we cast a creature spell. Teamer Ascendancy. Not only is this going to give our creatures haste, but it's also going to give us the ability to draw a card whenever we cast a creature with power 4 or greater. Guruk's Uprising. Another one that gives us a keyword and draws us a card with a power 4 or greater creature. Elemental Bond, this one's just really efficient because every time we cast a creature spell above 3 power, draw a card. Momentous Fall, sacrifice one of your creatures, draw cards equal to that creature's toughness. This is going to draw us a lot of cards. Rishkar's Expertise, not only does this have the ability to draw us a ton of cards, but it's going to let us cast a card for free. Greater Good, this one's insane because discarding 3 cards after we sacrifice a 9/9 is not going to hurt us whatsoever. The Great Henge, this one we're casting for 2 mana in this deck, honestly. And we're drawing a card whenever we cast a creature spell. They're going to get a 1/1 counter, and we can tap it for 2 mana. So this one's perfect in the deck. Guardian Project, whenever we cast a creature spell, draw a card. Beast Whisperer, same thing. That's going to do it for our card advantage. Let's get into removal. We have Haywire Might. Not only is he really efficient, but cast him early and he'll add a counter to your commander. Some simple removal spells. We have Chaos Warp and Beast Within. These are just going to get rid of any pesky permanents that we need to get off the battlefield. We do run some counter spells like Swan Song and Mana Drain. The reason I run Mana Drain in this deck is because the colorless mana we get off of countering that spell is going to help us cast our giant creatures. Finally, we run Cyclonic Rift because it's basically a one-sided board wipe that turns the tide in your favor, and then Blasphemous Act. The only way we lose in this deck, or one of the ways we lose in this deck, is if someone goes wide and completely runs us over with small creatures, so this is going to prevent that. If you guys made it this far, please drop a like. Leave a comment in the comment section if you think I should cut anything needs added to the deck, and your overall thoughts. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video. That's going to end it here, and I'll see you in the next one.